2026 is finally here, and today in this video I'll talk about all the new launches that will be hitting the market in the first half of 2026. Just a quick preview, these are all the new launches that will be launching, estimated to launch in 2026. And if you're keen, you can always DM me, I can send you the full list. But for simplicity's sake, I will just be going through what would be launching during the first half of 2026. Okay. Firstly, these two new launches will be launching in January because they already have a confirmed date. Newport Residences will be launching on 16th of Jan, followed by Nara Residences, which will be launching one day later on 17th of January 2026. Okay. Just some brief information on Newport Residences. It's the only freehold residential development in the area, and currently we do not have any land bid or estimated break-even price for the project because it is a redevelopment from the previous Fuji Xerox tower. Okay, so it's very hard for us to estimate or know what the developer will be pricing, but of course we will try our best and look at the past transactions over there. Okay, for those who don't know where is Newport, this is where Newport is located. So if you are familiar with the flyover and stuff like this is just along the flyover. Okay, and one thing interesting to note is you're just directly opposite the Greater Southern Waterfront transformation. So like I always mention, for areas like this, right, if you buy to a 99 years lease and the transformation only happens 10-20 years later, you might lose out. And in that case, a freehold might work out better for you, because if you can hold the project long enough, you would stand to see the maximum benefit of this development, this area transforming, which is huge lah, but not in the next 2-3 years. Okay, so as of now, I feel Newport Residences is more of a trophy that you buy rather than something that you buy for immediate gains in the short run, because the developers definitely would not be pricing it cheap. Okay, these are just some of the artist's impression. Very impressive, a very tall tower block. And one thing that I will draw your attention to is they have this indoor swimming pool at a very high level. Okay, and it's totally enclosed. You know, some of the swimming pools where they are on a higher level, they are not enclosed because they are the roof area, right? So you can't really swim if it's raining. But this one, not only you get to enjoy a very nice city view, you would also be sheltered from the rain itself. So very luxe, very exclusive. And let's look at the information from the area. Just a quick comparison, something that just launched, 99 years W Residences. They're actually launching around the 4,000 to the biggest, highest 5,000 PSF range. Of course, there's something lower starting from 3,233 PSF, but of course that is a lower floor. So you can expect, right, Newport Residences to not be launching lower than what W Residences has already launched, or maybe it will match the price but highly unlikely, because Newport Residences is a freehold project. And if you look at the details for this district, right, Newport Residences, right, most of the people buying there are actually for investment, for rental. So rentability would not be an issue. It's just whether the tenants, they would choose and pay a premium for this project or not, because you have to remember, as the owner yourself, you are paying a premium for the freehold, but it does not translate to rental, because tenants do not see the difference between a 99 years project and a freehold project. Okay, so that is something you do have to take note, because rental yield might be slightly lower. Okay, moving on, we have Nara Residences, which is launching on the same weekend. I've done a full condo review on Nara Residences, why you should buy and why you should not buy, so I'll not deep dive into it. Do check out the other YouTube video, I'll put the link below for your reference. Okay, just quickly run through the estimated break even, right, for Nara Residences is at 2,000 PSF. Okay, there were two bidders, and something interesting about this in this entire area, right, Nara Residences is the first post-harmonized project. What does it mean, right? Means the efficiency of Nara Residences is much better than the surrounding. Okay, much better. And of course, it's also in an area where there is a lot of future land bid coming up, and this might in turn drive up the prices for Nara residences. Okay, in a very private enclave, landed and condo only. If you're looking at HDB, you'll be further up to the Bukit Panjang area, or Choa Chu Kang area. Okay, this is Nara Residences site plan, how it looks. 66% landscape, and the prices are very attractive because they are pricing at the resale prices, at the surrounding resale prices, or for some units, right, even lower than that. Okay, of course, I deep dive into the pricing strategy of the developer, but you can have a look at it in my previous videos as well. Okay, just quickly, 1 bedroom below 1 million, 2 bedroom below 1.2, 3 bedroom it's around 1.6 million starting from, and the 4 bedroom is 2.4 million starting from, which is very reasonable from the developer itself. Okay, moving on, we have a few other new launches with no confirmed dates in mind. It's just an estimate. You have River Morden around the River Valley area, Revel, the only EC that might be launching for the first half this year, Pioneer Residences just directly opposite Revel, and Tengah Garden Avenue. Okay, followed by Media Circle Parcel A, Bayshore Road, which is very interesting because it's one of the, I think it's the highest OCR ever bidded. Okay, and Danyan Road, and followed by Lentor Gardens. Of course, we do have other minor projects, but I will not go into details and touch so much into them, because I believe those people that are buying into small boutique projects, they are not so much looking for facilities or appreciation. They value privacy more lah. Okay, so you have Duet Emily, Sophia Meadows, and I think this Verde at Joo Chiat. Okay, let's move on. River Morden. Okay, the expected launch date of River Morden should be quite soon. They are targeting 20th Feb lah, which I think is during the Chinese New Year period. So if you have nothing to do and you have a very big ang pao, just come down to the River Morden show flat. Okay, one thing to note is, look at the number of bids over here. There's 5 developer bidding in February 2025. So developer actually has renewed confidence in the area itself, and the highest bidder actually be at 1420, meaning the estimated break even is around 2571. Okay, let's look at comparison of the other projects in the other area. Okay, this is where River Morden is. This is River Green, and you have Zion Grand, you have Promenade Peak. Okay, all these 3 plots were launched this year and performed very well. Maybe that's the reason why they give developers the confidence, right, to go and whack River Morden at a higher land bid pricing, with so many developers eyeing for it. So you see the first difference, Zion Grand there's only 1 bidder. Parcel A, River Valley Green, only has 2 bidder, and Promenade Peak only has 2 bidder as well. And respectively, right, Zion Grand is the cheapest. Of course, this comes with the service apartment element, so I think government gave them a bit of discount, but the price that Zion Grand was being launched is not exactly low as well. Later I'll show you. And for River Green, it's at 2258, which is closer to River Morden. And for Promenade Peak is at 2229. Okay, so the selling point for each is rather similar, but in terms of layout and site plan, I would say Zion Grand is the best among the 3. So it'll be quite interesting to see how River Morden plan their layout and how they will price it accordingly, because we do see the jump for all the 3 existing launches from the slide, the lower floor to the higher floor, right? The jump is quite substantial. Okay, so that will be something interesting to note. So at 2000 break even, 2258 break even, and 2229 break even, the sales price average, right, if you look at all 3 of the existing project, is around 3000 PSF. Okay, so at 2005 PSF break even, I would expect River Morden to launch from maybe 2728 PSF all the way to 4000 PSF as well, because see, already transacted 4000 PSF, and this is for Zion Grand. Okay, So this is something we do have to take note. Price point wise, I do not think River Modern would price lower than the existing 3 project. Maybe for the lower floor, they will try to match or price it slightly higher. But as it goes up, definitely the price will go way higher. So if you are looking for a good buy or a good price, it is always better, right? If there are still existing supply from the previous land sale, look at them first until there is no alternative, or if the layout sucks, right, then you consider the newer launches. Okay. Moving on, this is something that I'm very interested in, which is Revel EC. I'm comparing Revel and Pinery together because they are just side by side. So this is Revel and this is Pinery, and of course you have the Tampines West MRT over here. They are along the Tampines Street 92, 94 and 95 lah. Okay. And one thing that if you are quite observant, you will realize, right, start of the year of 2025, there's something similar that happened in Tampines as well, and it is Oriel and Parktown. Okay, so if you look, this is Oriel of Tampines and this is Parktown Residences. They are also just one street apart. Why I do this comparison, right, is to show you the pricing gap and how the developer price. And when I was serving buyer for Oriel at the start of the year, right, I realized one common point they have. Those that can afford EC, right, they will always go and see Parktown as well, which is the condo. But those that can afford Parktown, right, they might not be eligible to buy the EC. Okay, so just an advice from me to everyone out there: if you have a choice to choose between EC and condo side by side, right, for me, I would always go and look at the EC first if I'm eligible and I can afford. Okay, affordability issue is more of the down payment because your loan will be very restricted. Okay, this is just one of general advice I would give for everyone out there, unless the EC is priced way too high and the layout is not efficient at all. Okay, if not everything all else being the same, right, no point going for something that is more expensive when you enjoy the same benefits in the area. Okay, so for Revel and Pinery, okay, Pinery Residences, estimated break-even is 1,823. Of course, then again, there's 6 developers bidding for the same project. This highlights the confidence of developers in not just the area but in Singapore overall. And for Tampines Street 95 is 1,380. So if we were to compare, Parktown bidded at 200 PSF lower, and for Oriel is only around 70 PSF lower. So Revel, I feel the developers would be quite sensible in a sense. It will not be too highly priced because it's still a subsidized housing. Okay, so let's look at the sales price for Oriel and Parktown and see whether we can derive how much Revel and Pinery would be going for during the launch day. Okay, both of these launch would be estimated to be launching around February period or March period. So do keep a lookout for it after your Chinese New Year. Same, if you have a big ang pao, come down and have a look, or if you are considering to upgrade. Okay, so for Oriel, they bought at around 1,003 PSF. Average selling price is around 1,760. Okay, lowest is 1,650, highest is close to the 2,000 PSF. For Revel, I do feel there will be units that is slightly higher than the 2,000 PSF range, so do be prepared for that. But averagely, I would say around 1,007, 1,008 PSF, you can get a unit if you have a very good balloting number, because a lot of people are eyeing for this EC. Of course, Coastal Cabana is also having their launch now, but most of the buyers I meet on the ground, they are hesitant because they will want to take a look at Revel first before they proceed to Coastal Cabana. Okay, it's not that Coastal Cabana is not good, it's just that in terms of location, Revel presents a more superior advantage than Coastal Cabana. Okay, next we have Parktown. They sold at 1,006 PSF break-even estimated. and average price is around 2369, okay, with their price starting from 2146. So Pinery shares the same attributes, mixed development, and because they bought 200 PSF higher, right, I believe even for the lowest PSF, the developers will be starting from 2002 all the way upwards, and do be prepared to see units for Pinery transacting at 2728, okay, which brings me back to a question. If today you were to enter Pinery at 2728 PSF, right, for maybe the more premium facing or higher stack, higher floor, but existing launch there are units going for 2526 in the RCR area or CCR area, those are also worth considering. So if you are waiting to view Pinery or what, you can reach out to me and I can share with you more available options from the previous land sales, which you might get a bargain deal for. Okay, moving on, Tengah Gardens. This might be one of the cheapest OCR launch for the first half, with the most benefits. Okay, for me, I'm a huge believer of transformation, and I believe that West would be the next big thing in the next 10 to 20 years because of all the things that is happening. Okay, there are 3 bidders over here. The developer that won is one of my favorite developer, Hong Leong and Guaco Land. They did an amazing job in the Lentor area, where all the layouts that they build are efficient and the way they plan it lah. Okay, so one thing to note for Tengah Garden, like I say, the transformation is massive. Look at all the land plots over here that will be built in the future. Okay, not only that, right, all these private residential would be supported by the huge influx of HDB upgraders. It is a new township that is being built. The previous township that was being built, if or promoted, right, if you all realize, right, is Punggol, and Punggol, right, has the same story as Tengah. Okay, so if you see, this is Punggol in 2003. Look at the number of empty land plots that are available for sale, both private and HDB. And look at the 2019 master plan. Okay, everything is up and ready. So in 2003, right, they only have 7,000 HDB units. In a span of 16 years, right, they built it up to 45,000 HDB units. And what does this mean for the residents there? Only one thing, it drives the price up because demand for private property is so much and supply is limited. Okay, so if you compare D19 growth over the past years as compared to other areas outside of core central region, D19 outperformed the rest of the areas by 40%. Okay, so I expect Tengah to have the same growth as Punggol, if not more, because our Singaporeans' income is getting higher as well. So if I only have a chance to buy a private property in the next 2-3 years, right, Tengah Garden would be something that I would really be looking at, because land bid cost is low and you enter with a very high ceiling of growth. Okay, next would be Media Circle. If you look at Media Circle, there's 3 bids. It's by the same developer as Bloomsbury. Break-even price is around 2,052 PSF. Okay, so this is Parcel A. As we all know, there is Parcel B, which is Bloomsbury Residences. Okay, so this Bloomsbury Residences lah, and this is your Media Parcel A. For this area itself, there is a lot of transformation happening, but do proceed with caution because the confidence for the public is not there yet. Bloomsbury were launched at a period where new launch were very hot. They were like Lindenwoods and a few other launch at similar timing. Maybe it just launched at a very bad timing where there are better products at a better price point. They only sold 90 units at an average of 2,400 PSF. Okay, So this is an overlooked area because most Singaporeans are not familiar with the area and not familiar with the transformation happening, okay, the one-off transformation happening. So if you can go there and spot a good deal at 2004 PSF, it might be a better choice, right, than Pinery Residences, which is estimated to be selling at as high as 2007, 2008 PSF, because this is a RCR area and it does have room for growth as well if it is properly planned and the injection of population, okay. But I would say proceed with caution. If you do not understand the area, go and study the area and know what you are getting into for, okay. Because if you were to look at the other projects in the area, it is mainly an area for rental rather than selling. Because if you look at One North Residences and a few other projects there, right, rental is fantastic, no issue getting a tenants. The issue comes with selling because it's such a quiet area during weekends, right? When there's not much pull factors, Singaporeans or upgraders generally do not look towards the area. But hopefully with the development of the One North area, perception might change, because perception is very important. If most of the Singaporeans don't like living in the area, then what for you buy there, right? When it's very hard to convince them to buy in the future, okay? So this is something you do have to note. It's a 50-50, I would say, some sort of a gamble. But if you can hold long term, or if you are someone that prefer a very quiet and very serene area, this is something that you can consider lah, okay. So once again, surprisingly, right, Parcel A is cheaper than Parcel B, okay, not by a lot, but by 20 PSF lah. So the launch price would be rather similar. I would say averagely around 2,000 for PSF, okay. Just take note on this. Developer is the same. So if you want to see how the developer develop or how the layout will look like, right, it would be pretty similar. So just have a look at Bloomsbury and you can do a comparison already, okay. Okay, this is a controversial one. Somebody say, okay, some people will say that it is worth bidding at 1388 PSF and their break even is at 2528. Okay, mind you, the developer think this would be a sold out project, okay. There are 8 developers bidding. So far, out of all the projects that we have seen, this has the most number of developer. I would say rightfully so. A few reasons I can give is, firstly, there are no new launches in Bayshore for the longest time already, and surrounding it are all very old condo if you're familiar with the area. Secondly, it's because with the MRT right smack at your doorstep. Thirdly, it's because of the East Coast plan, and lastly, you have a very good view lah. And of course, a lot of people want to buy the District 15 area, okay. So 2528 PSF, if I were to do translation in terms of how the developer will price it from how much they want to earn, right? If they are not as greedy, they are feeling very generous, they will price 10% PSF, the price will be starting from 2780 PSF, okay. Averagely, if let's say they want to price at 15% profit, it will be at 2009 PSF, and if they are looking at 20% profit, it will be at 3000 PSF, okay. One thing to note, if you are paying at 3000 PSF, okay, for different units, most likely you can get a unit in the CCR area already, okay. But this is of course subjective. Emotional value of District 15 is really very high, okay. You do have the sea view, you do have a sort of exclusive kind of feeling, and you do have MRT right at your doorsteps, okay. So some people would still consider Bayshore as an area for own stay, okay. But exit wise, I would say would be interesting to see, because it will be one of the first few developments, right, that will be right next to the new HDB what's that called, HDB ruling, the Prime and Plus. So they have like a longer MOP period and there's subsidy clawback whatsoever. So we would like to see whether the HDB upgraders would actually want to upgrade into the area, because the cycle is different already. Instead of every 5 years you have a new HDB upgrader coming in, now it's a 10 years period. So will it affect the demand of the area? Okay. But of course, if you're considering Bayshore, go and look at Zion Grand, or you can look at Bloomsbury, just because, right, even though there are some areas that might be lacking, we are still saving around 500 PSF. And if it is 1,000 square feet, right, 500 PSF is $500,000, like, okay? So it's for you to justify yourself whether the emotional value is worth paying for, or just straight up get a unit in core central region. Okay. Moving on, we have Dunyan Road. Okay, Dunyan Road is also very interesting. Just to take note, this is OCR. Where is this? This is CCR. Okay, this is the CCR area, and the pull factor of Dunyan Road is very, very strong. The only thing lacking for Dunyan Road is it does not have a view. But in terms of accessibility, right, this is Dunyan Road. Okay, you have an MRT station over here, and you have so many good schools in the area. And on top of that, right, our government is transforming the Turf City area, which is not a small transformation. But then again, it brings me back to the same point. The HDB there, they have a 10 years MOP period, and with a lot of other rules in place, how would it affect the upgrading process? But of course, for Dunyan and Bayshore area, they have never rely on HDB upgraders lah. Most of it are for people that has a higher earning income capabilities, or they have rich parents. Okay, so 9 bidders. If it's at 2558 PSF, most likely developers will be starting from 2,900 to 3,000 PSF as well. Okay, so one thing that will concern me for Dunyan Road is the fact that surrounding Dunyan Road, right, there's a lot of freehold project, and the only leasehold project is 4th Avenue Residences. So if you're comparing the resale in the area and the upcoming Dunyan Road GLS, this would be one of the main concerns that buyers would have with the 99 versus freehold debate, which has always been going along for a very long time lah. But if we look at Turf City, the transformation over here, all the land here, right, in the future would be 99 years lah, because our government do not sell freehold land. Okay, so this might balance out the effect, and people would not be that confused as well whether they should go for 99 or freehold. But if you are really a firm freehold believer, then by all means go for the freehold law, because the average PSF is slightly lower as well. Okay, it's not Royal Green. Royal Green is relatively new. Okay. And I think this is the last of all, Lentor Gardens. Last plot on the entire Lentor transformation. Okay, one thing interesting to note is Guaco and Hong Leong actually never go and fight for this plot of land, because if you understand from the Lentor transformation and all the previous land bid, right, almost all the lands here, or say rather all the lands here, right, are bid by Hong Leong and Guaco, and so they form a monopoly lah. This time round is actually by Kingsford Group, and they bought at 1894 PSF. Okay, New Township. Concern for many people in the Lentor area is oversupply, because everything is launched almost during the same 2 to 3 years. Okay, but I just want to address this concern over here, because if you compare, right, something similar actually happened in Pasir Ris before, which is the Cocoa Palms area, and they still make substantial amount of profit. And the first plot of land sold, Lentor Central, which has already TOP, right, they sold at 1933 PSF. Of course, why it is higher? Because it is a pre-harmonized project lah. But the point I want to highlight is there's already people buying in the units over here, and all these are sub-sale projects. Okay, sub-sale meaning they haven't reached their CSC. And if you look at something interesting, one tip I can give you, right, if you are going for investment to flip for sub-sale, right, most of the people buying there, right, they are buying the slightly bigger units, the 3 and 4 bedroom. Okay, so one thing I have always advised all my clients, if possible, at least minimally go for a 3-bedroom. Okay, if possible and within your affordability, because those that buy here, they do have a genuine need. And if you ask me, in terms of oversupply, we break it down into category, right? 1 and 2 bedroom, you might have an oversupply because all of them are buying for investment. Most of them are buying for investment, for rental, for flipping. So when it comes to the market, you will have more competitor as compared to the 3 and 4 bedroom, where people are buying in for the transformation, for the long term, for the convenience and transportation. They will hold for a longer period. So when it comes to the resale market, right, there would be slightly lesser people selling, and you do have an edge. And people that are buying from you, they do have a genuine need as well, and they can't wait for another new launch in the next 3 to 4 years. Okay, so to sum it up, these are just what I feel will be all the new launches launching on the first half of 2026. Of course, if you do want the exact date, right, of when they will all be launching, you can DM me. I will keep you updated as I do with all my clients on the launch dates and the review of all the new launches that are coming up. If not, you can follow and subscribe to my channel, as I'll be doing all the reviews closer to the dates of the launch, and you can keep yourself updated and informed in my channel as well. Okay, that's it for my video. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you have a great 2026 to you and from me.